I mean, the greatest ethical challenge that the planet has is distribution of scarce resources. Um, and that means across countries, that means within countries.
Personally, I think the biggest challenge we're facing now is the crisis in capitalism and representative democracy. These two things are two sides of the same coin. Of course, economics is politics and vice versa. We have an economic model that is not working. It is producing success in only a very narrowly defined way of economic growth. That growth is not being fairly distributed. It is causing great damage to the planet. It's not working in a broader sense of what matters to us as humans.
My greatest concern right now is is our ability, particularly people who are in the international arena, to continue to deliver economic growth in a sustainable way. And I think it's not just about economic growth, but it's also about continuing to put a meaningful dent in poverty.
I think the hardest question for leftists like me is, where is the political space that within which you can organize and mobilize for greater equality across the globe? And that's a question I don't have an answer to, but I think it is a central question for those of us who set a high value on human equality.
I think on the positive side, it's empowerment. It's finding a way to enable all of these billions of people to flourish, to show their best selves to the world, to contribute to the world.
I think the greatest ethical challenge facing the world today is understanding our range of impact and therefore our range of responsibility. So in some ways, what the challenge of a connected world is that we're starting to understand the ripples and impacts of every decision that we're having.
I would say there are many ethical challenges that we face, but clearly the number one ethical priority we should make today is to get everyone to be aware that we live in a small global community.
So in my mind, the biggest moral challenge we have has to do with global warming. This is a really complex question. It's a question about now versus later. It's a question about collaboration between different nations. It's a question where we individually cannot do very much, but the collective action is incredibly important.
It's our ecology, so climate change and resource depletion in particular. It's the poverty problem, which drives overpopulation, which is also a problem in its own right. And then it is the various security problems that have to do with advanced technologies. So that's weapons of mass destruction, of course, but there are a lot of other technological problems that harbor considerable dangers for the long-term future.
I think the biggest challenge we face today is that there's more than one challenge, and each of them makes unadulterated, call it that, claims upon our activity, commitment, resources, attention. And so that if there were just one, we'd live in an easier world, but we don't.